Hey Wings, how are you? Happy Friday indeed. Hey Sunshine, how are you? I have good stories tonight. I am upright and mobile. Hey Naomi, how are you? Welcome in. Gam, good to see you. Happy Friday. Hey Eddie, how you doing, sir? Well, thank you guys for the shares and the likes. It is much appreciated. Helps put my voice in more people's ear holes. And I have good stories tonight. Hey Amy, welcome. Good to see you. Ooh, Viva Las Vegas, thank you for the follow. 'Tis much appreciated. You are the first new follower of the night. So for the last, hey Linda, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, for the last week or so, we've been inching closer and closer to 15,000 followers. It's like I can almost taste it. Well, thank you. I love having you here. I mean that. That's not a joke. Seriously. Oh, you've been listening to past lives on YouTube? Awesome. Which ones have you listened to? I'm just curious. Which stories? Edis, I read all kinds of stories. Sundays and Mondays are generally family-friendly chapter books. We've done Charlotte's Web, Bridge to Terabithia, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Sunday, we're going to be starting James and the Giant Peach. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, generally read a lot of horror, science fiction, weird fantasy stuff. All generally short stories that we finish in one night or less. It's a good variety. I have a bunch of anthologies that I've picked up, so everything from stuff from the early pulp era in the 1920s and 30s all the way up to modern stuff. Hey Yanni, how are you? Welcome. Wizard of Oz was fun. Doing that all week was fantastic. It really was fantastic. Hey Lynn. Oh, Body Politic. That was a great story. So messed up. Had Bridge to Terabithia. I'm glad you survived the end of Bridge to Terabithia, Sunshine, because I almost didn't. Yeah, the hand one was The Body Politic by Clive Barker. That's one I could actually read because it was, oh man. Oh, I had you crying. I am so sorry. Oh, Addis, no problem. No problem. I mean, feel free to ask away. I generally go for about 2 hours. So from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. And hello from Scotland. So that's usually about all my voice can take. Sometimes we go a little over. And, if the story's almost done, we'll just go right through it. We'll go to the end. But I do it, 4 nights a week. Yeah. My birthday week last month, I went live every day for a week. Oh, Carrie, that's beautiful. Thank you. I love hearing that stuff. That's all right. I'm glad you found me. Yeah, Charlotte's Web is it is one of my favorites. It's funny because I thought the ending of that was gonna rough me up. Yeah, absolutely. I think somebody asked, but my lives, I'm also live on the tubes, and those are automatically posted up. I don't repost on TikTok because they're very stingy. Yeah, Bridge. I did not think anything could get me as worked up. Oh, well, we are very much about politeness and kindness in this room, so you are always welcome. Hey, Crazy Mama, how are you? Hey, Tina, welcome in. Yeah, I didn't think Bridge to Terabithia was going to be as rough as it was, but man, that ending was like a kick in the chest. It was beautiful, though. It was absolutely beautiful. All right, we got about 2 minutes, and then we'll get started. Thank you guys for the likes and the shares and the gifts. It all helps. It all helps get my voice in more people's ear holes. Yes, I am going to be reading. I'm going to be starting in about 2 minutes. Just usually gives people time to filter in. Oh yeah, the story. I have not seen the movie, but yeah, that story was. It reminded me of the movie My Girl. That one. That when, oh my gosh, when the kid dies and she's in there, he can't see without his glasses. That just broke me. Well, Stacy, I will tell you in just a minute here. I have 2 good ones tonight. 2 good classic science fiction stories, but they are a little darker. All right. Well, I had to finish my stay awake juice. All right. Well, let's get this party started here. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Storytime with UndeadPapa. And tonight, we have 2 stories about connection, the kind we long for, the kind we fear, and the kind that changes us forever. We begin with a story from Robert Silverberg, a tale of strangers sharing something they never asked for, and discovering that the most terrifying person... Wow, I'm going to have fun tonight. And discovering that the most terrifying prison may be your own mind. So, wherever you are listening from, dim the lights, sit back, and relax, because story time is about to begin. This is Passengers by Robert Silverberg. Yes, marital. I don't know why that was so difficult to get through that stupid word. There are just some words that just trip you up, and it's like, pet, pet, pet. Yeah. Anyway, I should show you guys my blooper reel at some point. It's hilarious. All right. Let us read. There are only fragments of me left now. Chunks of memory have broken free and drifted away like calved glaciers. It is always like that when a passenger leaves us. We can never be sure of all the things our borrowed bodies did. We have only the lingering traces, the imprints. Like sand clinging to an ocean-tossed bottle, like the throbbings of amputated legs. Shh, I clicked. I rise. I collect myself. My hair is rumpled. I comb it. My face is creased from too little sleep. There is sourness in my mouth. Has my passenger been eating dung with my mouth? They do that. They do anything. It is morning, a gray, uncertain morning. I stare at it a while, and then, shuddering, opaque the window and confront instead the gray, uncertain surface of the inner panel. My room looks untidy. Did I have a woman here? There are ashes in the trays. Searching for butts, I find several with lipstick stains. Yes, a woman was here. I touch the bed sheets, still warm with shared warmth, both pillows tousled. She is gone, though, and the passenger is gone, and I am alone. How long did it last this time? I pick up the phone and ring Central. What is the date? The computer's bland, feminine voice replies, Friday, December 4th, 1987. The time? 9:51 Eastern Standard Time. The weather forecast? Predicted temperature range for today, 30 to 38. Current temperature, 31. Wind from the north, 16 miles an hour. Chances of precipitation, slight. What do you recommend for a hangover? Food or medication? Anything you like, I say. The computer mulls that one over for a while, then it decides on both and activates my kitchen. The spigot yields cold tomato juice. Eggs begin to fry. From the medicine slot comes a purplish liquid. The central computer is always so thoughtful. Do the passengers ever write it, I wonder? What thrills could that hold for them? Surely it must be more exciting to borrow the millions of minds of Central than to live a while in the faulty, short-circuited soul of a corroding human being. December 4, Central said. Friday. So the passenger had me for 3 nights. I drink the purplish stuff and probe my memories in a gingerly way, as one might probe a festering sore. I remember Tuesday morning. A bad time at work. None of the charts will come out right. The section manager, irritable. He is taken by passengers 3 times in 5 weeks, and his section is in disarray as a result. And his Christmas bonus is jeopardized. Even though it is customary not to penalize a person for lapses due to passengers, according to the system, the section manager seems to feel he will be treated unfairly. So he treats us unfairly. We have a hard time, revise the charts, fiddle with the program, check the fundamentals 10 times over. Out they come, the detailed forecast for price variations of public utility securities. April 1988. That afternoon we are to meet and discuss the charts and what they tell us. I do not remember Tuesday afternoon. That must have been when the passenger took me. Perhaps at work. Perhaps in the mahogany-paneled boardroom itself, during the conference. Pink, concerned faces all about me. I cough, I lurch, I stumble from my seat. They shake their heads sadly. No one reaches for me, no one stops me. It is too dangerous to interfere with one who has a passenger. The chances are great that a second passenger lurks nearby in the discorporate state, looking for a mount, so I am avoided. I leave the building. After that, what? Sitting in my room on bleak Friday morning, I eat my scrambled eggs and try to reconstruct the 3 lost nights. Of course it is impossible. The conscious mind functions during the period of captivity, but upon withdrawal of the passenger, nearly every recollection goes too. There is only a slight residue, a gritty film of faint and ghostly memories. The mount is never precisely the same person afterwards. Though he cannot recall the details of his experience, he is subtly changed by it. I try to recall. A girl? Yes. Lipstick on the butts. Sex then, here in my room, young, old, blonde, dark, everything is hazy. How did my borrowed body behave? Was I a good lover? I try to be when I'm myself. I keep in shape. At 38, I can handle 3 sets of tennis on a summer afternoon without collapsing. I can make a woman glow, as a woman is meant to glow. Not boasting, just categorizing. We all have our skills. These are mine. But passengers, I am told, take wry amusement in controverting our skills. So would it have given my writer a delight to find me a woman and force me to fail repeatedly with her. I dislike that thought. The fog is going from my mind now. The medicine prescribed by Central works rapidly. I eat, I shave, I stand under the vibrator until my skin is clean. I do my exercises. Did the passenger exercise my body Wednesday and Thursday mornings? Probably not. I must make up for that. I am close to middle age now. Tone lost is not easily regained. I touch my toes 20 times, knees stiff. I kick my legs in the air. I lie flat and lift myself on pumping elbows. The body responds, maltreated though it has been. It is the first bright moment of my awakening. To feel the inner tingling, to know that I still have vigor. Fresh air is what I want next. I quickly slip into my clothes and leave. There is no need for me to report to work today. They were aware that since Tuesday afternoon I have had a passenger. They need not be aware that before dawn on Friday the passenger departed. I will have a free day. I will walk the city streets, stretching my limbs, repaying my body for the abuse it has suffered. I enter the elevator. I drop 50 stories to the ground. I step out into the December dreariness. The towers of New York rise about me. In the street, the cars stream forward. Drivers sit edgily at their wheels. One never knows when the driver of a nearby car will be borrowed, and there is always a moment of lapsed coordination as the passenger takes over. Many lives are lost that way on our streets and highways, but never the life of a passenger. I begin to walk without purpose. I cross 14th Street, heading north, listening to the soft, violent purr of the electric engines. I see a boy jigging in the street and know he is being ridden. At 5th and 22nd, a prosperous-looking, paunchy man approaches, his necktie askew, this morning's Wall Street Journal jutting from an overcoat pocket. He giggles. He thrusts out his tongue. Ridden. I avoid him. Moving briskly, I come to the underpass that carries traffic below, 34th Street toward Queens, and pause for a moment to watch 2 adolescent girls quarreling at the rim of the pedestrian walk. One is black. Her eyes are rolling in terror. The other pushes her closer to the railing. Ridden. But the passenger does not have murder on its mind, merely pleasure. The black girl is released and falls in a huddled heap, trembling. Then she rises and runs. The other girl draws a long strand of gleaming hair into her mouth, chews on it, seems to awaken. She looks dazed. I avert my eyes. One does not watch while a fellow sufferer is awakening. There is a mortality of the ridden. We have so many new tribal mores that in these dark days. I hurry on. Where am I going so hurriedly? Already I have walked more than a mile. I seem to be moving towards some goal, as though my passenger still hunches in my skull, urging me about. But I know that is not so. For the moment, at least, I am free. Can I be sure of that? Cogito ergo sum no longer applies. We go on thinking even while we are ridden, and we live in quiet desperation, unable to halt our courses, no matter how ghastly, no matter how self-destructive. I am certain that I can distinguish between the condition of bearing a passenger and the condition of being free, but perhaps not. Perhaps I bear a particularly devilish passenger which has not quitted me at all, but which merely has receded into the cerebellum, leaving me the illusion of freedom, while all the time surreptitiously driving me onward to some purpose of its own. Did we ever have more than that? The illusion of freedom? But this is disturbing. The thought that I may be ridden without realizing it. I burst out in heavy perspiration, not merely from the exertion of walking. Stop. Stop here. Why must you walk? You are at 42nd Street. There is the library. Nothing forces you onward. Stop a while, I tell myself. Rest on the library steps. I sit on the cold stone and tell myself that I have made this decision for myself. Have I? It is the old problem, free will versus determinism, translated into the foulest of forms. Determinism is no longer a philosopher's abstraction. It is cold, alien tendrils sliding between the cranial sutures. The passengers arrived 3 years ago. I have been ridden 5 times since then. Our world is quite different now. But we have adjusted even to this. We have adjusted. We have our mores, life goes on, our governments rule, our legislatures meet, our stock exchanges transact business as usual, and we have methods for compensating for the random havoc. It is the only way. What else can we do? Shrivel in defeat? We have an enemy we cannot fight. At best, we can resist through endurance, so we endure. The stone steps are cold against my body. In December, few people sit here. I tell myself that I made this long walk of my own free will, that I halted of my own free will, that no passenger rides in my brain now. Perhaps, I cannot let myself believe that I am not free. Can it be, I wonder, that the passenger left some lingering command in me? Walk to this place, halt at this place? That is possible, too. I look about me at the others on the library steps. An old man, eyes vacant, sitting on newspaper. A boy of 13 or so with flaring nostrils. A plump woman. Are all of them ridden? Passengers seem to cluster about me today. The more I study the ridden ones, the more convinced I am that I am, for the moment, free. The last time I had 3 months of freedom between rides. Some people, they say, are scarcely ever free. Their bodies are in great demand, and they know only scattered bursts of freedom, a day here, a week there, an hour. We have never been able to determine how many passengers infest our world. Millions, maybe, or maybe 5. Who can tell? A wisp of snow curls down out of the gray sky. Central had said the chance of precipitation was slight. Are they riding Central this morning, too? I see the girl. She sits diagonally across from me, 5 steps up and 100 feet away, her black skirt pulled up on her knees to reveal handsome legs. She is young. Her hair is deep, rich auburn. Her eyes are pale. At this distance, I cannot make out the precise color. She is dressed simply. She is younger than 30. She wears a dark green coat, and her lipstick has a purplish tinge. Her lips are full, her nose slender, high-bridged, her eyebrows carefully plucked. I know her. I have spent the past 3 nights with her in my room. She is the one. Ridden, she came to me, and ridden, I've slept with her. I am certain of this. The veil of memory opens. I see her slim body naked on my bed. How can it be that I remember this? It is too strong to be an illusion. Clearly, this is something that I have been permitted to remember for reasons I cannot comprehend. And I remember more. I know that my own body did not betray me those 3 nights, nor did I fail her. And there is more. A memory of sinuous music, a scent of youth in her hair, the rustle of winter trees. Somehow she brings back to me a time of innocence, a time when I am young and girls are mysterious, a time of parties and dances and warmth and secrets. I am drawn to her now. There is an etiquette about such things, too. It is in poor taste to approach someone you have met while being ridden. Such an encounter gives you no privilege. A stranger remains a stranger no matter what you and she may have done and said during your involuntary time together. Yet, I am drawn to her. Why this violation of taboo? Why this raw breach of etiquette? I have never done this before. I have been scrupulous. But I get to my feet and walk along the step on which I have been sitting until I am below her, and I look up. And automatically she folds her ankles together and angles her knees as if in awareness that her position is not a modest one. I know from that gesture that she is not ridden now. My eyes meet hers. Her eyes are a hazy green. She is beautiful, and I rack my memory for more details of our passion. I climb step by step until I stand before her. "Hello," I say. She gives me a neutral look. She does not seem to recognize me. Her eyes are veiled as one's eyes often are just after the passenger has gone. She purses her lips and appraises me in a different way, in a distant way. "Hello," she replies coolly. "I don't think I know you." "No, you don't. But I have the feeling you don't want to be alone just now. And I know I don't." I try to persuade her with my eyes that my motives are decent. There's snow in the air. What the hell? Fucking TikTok. God damn it. Okay, are we back? No, it was me, apparently. We love TikTok, and we love the TikTok shop. But yes, I am back. No, not the rapture. Believe me, I wouldn't be going. Mostly because they can't pick up my fat ass, but that's besides the point. It appears I was frozen, but I am no longer frozen, so I let it go. See what I did there? Oh, I really just, yeah. Okay, let me regather my thoughts here. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Can some... Hang on. Continue live. Oh, can you see me now? Okay. We love TikTok, and we love the TikTok shop. Yep. All right. You guys can hear me okay? Please say yes. Okay, good. Oh, goodness. Man, I'll tell you, TikTok is just fighting me lately. I mean, they're not distributing the live. I mean, we're what? 33 minutes in and we've only got 694 views. What the hell is that about? I don't know. Yeah, they don't like me lately. I don't know what it is. But I love TikTok and I love the TikTok shop. All right. So, let's see. I'll just back up just a minuscule amount and then I'll go get started here. Get restarted. Oh my goodness. Yes, we do. All right. I think I'm safe to to keep going now. All right. I climb step by step until I stand before her. Hello, I say. She gives me a neutral look. She does not seem to recognize me. Her eyes are veiled as one's eyes often are, just after the passenger has gone. She purses her lips and appraises me in a distant way. Hello, she replies coolly. I don't think I know you. No, you don't. But I have the feeling you don't want to be alone just now. And I know I don't. I try to persuade her with my eyes that my motives are decent. There's snow in the air, I say. We can find a warmer place. I'd like to talk to you. About what? Let's go elsewhere, and I'll tell you. I'm Charles Roth. Helen Martin. She gets to her feet. She still has not cast aside her cool neutrality. She is suspicious, ill at ease, but at least she is willing to go with me. A good sign. Is it too early in the day for a drink? I ask. I'm not sure. I hardly know what time it is. Before noon. Let's have a drink anyway, she says, and we both smile. We go to a cocktail lounge across the street. Sitting face to face in the darkness, we sip drinks. Daiquiri for her, Bloody Mary for me. She relaxes a little. I ask myself, what is it I want from her? The pleasure of her company? Yes. Her company in bed? But I've already had that pleasure, 3 nights of it, though she does not know that. I want something more. Something more what? Her eyes are bloodshot. She has had little sleep these past 3 nights. I say, was it very unpleasant for you? What? The passenger. A whiplash of reaction crosses her face. How did you know I've had a passenger? I know. We aren't supposed to talk about it. I'm broad-minded, I tell her. My passenger left me some time during the night. I was ridden since Tuesday afternoon. Mine left me about 2 hours ago, I think. Her cheeks color. She is doing something daring, talking like this. I was ridden since Monday night. This was my 5th time. Mine also. We toy with our drinks. Rapport is growing almost without the need of words. Our recent experiences with passengers give us something in common, although Helen does not realize how intimately we shared those experiences. We talk. She is a designer of display windows. She has a small apartment several blocks from here. She lives alone. She asks me what I do. Securities analyst, I tell her. She smiles. Her teeth are flawless. We have a second round of drinks. I am positive now that this is the girl who was in my room when I was ridden. A seed of hope grows in me. It was a happy chance that brought us together again so soon after we were parted as dreamers. A happy chance, too, that some vestige of the dream lingered in my mind. We have shared something. Who knows what, and it must have been good to leave such a vivid imprint on me. And now I want to come to her conscious, aware, my own master, and renew that relationship, making it a real one this time. It is not proper, for I am trespassing on a privilege that is not mine except by the virtue of our passenger's brief presence in us. Yet I need her. I want her. She seems to need me too, without realizing who I am, but fear holds her back. I am frightened of frightening her, and I do not try to press my advantage too quickly. Perhaps she would take me to her apartment with her now. Perhaps not, but I do not ask. We finish our drinks. We arrange to meet by the library steps again tomorrow. My hand momentarily brushes hers. Then she is gone. I fill 3 ashtrays that night. Over and over I debate the wisdom of what I am doing. But why not leave her alone? I have no right to follow her. In the place our world has become, we are wisest to remain apart. And yet, there is that stab of half-memory when I think of her. The blurred lights of lost chances behind the stairs, of girlish laughter in the second-floor corridors, of stolen kisses, of tea and cake. I remember the girl with the orchid in her hair, and the one in the spangled dress, and the one with the child's face and the woman's eyes, all so long ago, all lost, all gone, and I tell myself that this one I will not lose. I will not permit her to be taken from me. Morning comes. A quiet Saturday. I return to the library, hardly expecting to find her there, but she is there, on the steps, and the sight of her is like a reprieve. She looks wary, troubled. Obviously she has done much thinking, little sleeping. Together we walk along Fifth Avenue. She is quite close to me, but she does not take my arm. Her steps are brisk, short, nervous. I want to suggest that we go to her apartment instead of the cocktail lounge. In these days we must move swiftly while we are free. But I know it would be a mistake to think of this as a matter of tactics. Coarse haste would be fatal, bringing me perhaps an ordinary victory, a numbing defeat within it. In any event, her mood hardly seems promising. I look at her, thinking of string music and new snowfalls, and she looks towards the gray sky. She says, "I can feel them watching me all the time, like vultures swooping overhead, waiting, ready to pounce." But there's a way of beating them. We can grab little scraps of life when they're not looking. They're always looking. No, I tell her. There can't be enough of them for that. Sometimes they're looking the other way, and while they are, two people can come together and try to share warmth. But what's the use? You're too pessimistic, Helen. They ignore us for months at a time. We have a chance. But I cannot break through her shell of fear. She is paralyzed by the nearness of the passengers, unwilling to begin anything for fear it will be snatched away by our tormentors. We reach the building where she lives, and I hope she will relent and invite me in. For an instant she wavers, but only for an instant. She takes my hand in both of hers and smiles, and the smile fades, and she is gone, leaving me only with the words, "Let's meet at the library again tomorrow. Noon." I make the long, chilling walk home alone. Some of her pessimism seeps into me that night. It seems futile for us to try to salvage anything. More than that, wicked for me to seek her out, shameful to offer a hesitant love when I am not free. In this world, I tell myself, we should keep well clear of others, so that we do not harm anyone when we are seized and ridden. I do not go to meet her in the morning. It is the best way, I insist. I have no business trifling with her. I imagine her at the library, wondering why I'm late, growing tense, impatient, then annoyed. She will be angry with me for breaking our date, but her anger will ebb, and she will forget me quickly enough. Monday comes. I return to work. Naturally, no one discusses my absence. It is as though I have never been away. The market is strong that morning. The work is challenging. It is mid-morning before I think of Helen at all. But once I think of her, I can think of nothing else. My cowardice is standing her up. The childishness of Saturday night's dark thoughts. Why accept fate so passively? Why give in? I want to fight, to carve out a pocket of security despite the odds. I feel a deep conviction that it can be done. The passengers may never bother the two of us again, after all. And that flickering smile of hers outside her building Saturday, that momentary glow, it should have told me that behind her wall of fear she felt the same hopes. She was waiting for me to lead the way. And I stayed home instead. At lunchtime, I go to the library, convinced it is futile. But she is there. She paces along the steps. The wind slices at her slender figure. I go to her. She is silent a moment. "Hello," she says finally. "I'm sorry about yesterday. I waited a long time for you." I shrug. I made up my mind that it was no use to come, but then I changed my mind again. She tries to look angry, but I know she is pleased to see me again. Else why did she come here today? She cannot hide her inner pleasure, nor can I. I point across the street to the cocktail lounge. Daiquiri, I say, as a peace offering. All right. Today the lounge is crowded, but we find a booth somehow. There is a brightness in her eyes that I have not seen before, a sense that a barrier is crumbling within her. You're less afraid of me, Helen, I say. I've never been afraid of you. I'm afraid of what could happen if we take the risks. Don't be. Don't be. I'm trying not to be afraid. But sometimes it seems so helpless since they came here. We can still try to have our own lives. Maybe. We have to. Let's make a pact, Helen. No more gloom, no more worrying about the terrible things that might just maybe happen, all right? A pause, then a cool hand against mine. All right. We finish our drinks, and I present my credit central to pay for them, and we go outside. I want her to tell me to forget about this afternoon's work and come home with her. It is inevitable now that she will ask me, and better sooner than later. We walk a block. She does not offer the invitation. I sense the struggle inside her, and I wait, letting that struggle reach its own resolution without interference from me. We walk a second block. Her arm is through mine, but she talks only of her work, of the weather, and it is a remote, arm's-length conversation. At the next corner, she swings around, away from her apartment, back toward the cocktail lounge. I try to be patient with her. I have no need to rush things now, I tell myself. Her body is not a secret to me. We have begun our relationship topsy-turvy with the physical part first, and now it will take time to work backward to the more difficult part that some people call love. But of course she is not aware that we have known each other that way. The wind blows swirling snowflakes in our faces, and somehow the cold sting awakens honesty in me. I know what I must say. I must relinquish my unfair advantage. I tell her, while I was ridden last week, Helen, I had a girl in my room. Why talk of such things now? I have to, Helen. You were the girl. She halts, turns to me. People hurry past us in the street. Her face is very pale, with dark red spots growing on her cheeks. That is not funny, Charles. It wasn't meant to be. You were with me from Tuesday night to early Friday morning. How can you possibly know that? I do. The memory is clear. Somehow it remains, Helen. I see your whole body. Stop it, Charles. We were very good together, I say. We must have pleased our passengers because we were so good. To see you again, it was like waking from a dream, and finding that dream was real, the girl right there. No! Let's go to your apartment and begin again. She says, You're being deliberately filthy, and I don't know why, but there wasn't any reason for you to spoil things. Maybe I was with you, maybe I wasn't, but you wouldn't know it, and if you did know it, you should keep your mouth shut about it. You have a birthmark the size of a dime, I say. About 3 inches below your left ribs. She sobs and hurls herself at me, there in the street. Her long, silvery nails rake my cheeks. She pommels me. I seize her. Her knees assail me. No one pays attention. Those who pass by assume we are ridden and turn their heads. She is all fury, but I have my arms around hers like metal bands so that she can only stamp and snort. Her body is close against mine. She is rigid, anguished. In a low, urgent voice, I say, "We'll defeat them, Helen. We'll finish what they started. Don't fight me. There's no reason to fight me. I know it's a fluke that I remember you, but let me go with you, and I'll prove that we belong together." "Let go! Please, please. Why should we be enemies? I don't mean you any harm. I love you, Helen. Do you remember when we were kids, we could play at being in love? I did. You must have done it too. 16, 17 years old. The whispers, the conspiracies, all a big game, and we knew it. But the game's over. We can't afford to tease and run. We have so little time when we are free. We have to trust, to open ourselves. It's wrong. No. Just because it's the stupid custom for two people brought together by passengers to avoid one another, that doesn't mean we have to follow it. Helen. Something in my tone registers with her. She ceases to struggle. Her rigid body softens. She looks up at me, her tear-streaked face thawing, her eyes blurred. "Trust me," I say. "Trust me, Helen." She hesitates. Then she smiles. In that moment, I feel the chill at the back of my skull, the sensation as of a steel needle being driven deep through bone. I stiffen. My arms drop away from her. For an instant, I lose touch, and when the mists clear, all is different. "Charles," she says. "Charles." Her knuckles are against her teeth. I turn, ignoring her, and go back into the cocktail lounge. A young man sits in one of the front booths. His dark hair gleams with pomade. His cheeks are smooth. His eyes meet mine. I sit down. He orders drinks. We do not talk. My hand falls on his wrist and remains there. The bartender serving the drinks scowls but says nothing. We sip our cocktails and put the drained glasses down. "Let's go," the young man says. I follow him out. Well, what did you guys think of that one? It's good, right? Yeah. I read through it last night, and I was like, oh, my peeps are gonna love this one. It's yeah. Robert Silverberg is a giant, but a lot of people these days don't know who he is. That he's one of those big science fiction writers from the 1950s, and this is generally considered one of his best works. Yeah, Yane, I hear you. Kind of like giving up on that possibility for myself, but that's okay. I have friends. I have you guys, which makes me very happy. Robert Silverberg. Yep. All right. So, I wanted to ask you guys a question. And I'm actually going to put a poll out for it. Poll and gift. Poll and gift votes. What? There we go. No. Nope. Custom. Edit. Let's see. Let's say 8 p.m. EST. Let's say stay at the current time. 9. Oops. I should have done this beforehand. Alrighty then. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick 5-minute poll. No, I'm not changing the story for Sunday. No, that's locked in. I spend way too much time planning these to kind of change them on the fly. Nope, this is going to be a different question. I have been kind of toying around, so the poll is live. It'll be live for 10 minutes. Well, it's live. Wait a minute. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Stop. Start new poll. There it is. Start. Okay. So I've been kind of toying around with the idea, especially with summer. The poll is now live. You guys should be able to vote on it. So the question is, do I change the start time to 8 p.m. and possibly continue to go until 11 or just go to 10? Or do I keep the lives at 9? Come on, there's 78 of you in here. Get your votes in now. Time zone Eastern Standard, New York time, basically. So 8 p.m. would be 5 p.m. Pacific. It would be 1 a.m. UK time. $11 votes a total. And if you guys do vote for the earlier time, we'll try it as an experiment and see what happens. Ten's not one of the options. There should be an icon in the upper left. Upper left, yeah. It's a blue. I believe it's a blue and white icon. Yep, under daily ranking. Yep. Damn. I didn't realize 8 was going to be so popular. All right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's thank you, Wings. 30 votes in total. This at least will tell me that there is interest in it. And, hey, Glowset Candy, how are you? Welcome in. Yeah, going in and out. That I know that worked the last time I had a poll. It worked for a couple people. What do I want? Yeah, 9 p.m. is definitely losing. It doesn't mean I'm going to change it. Let me make that clear. That does not mean that if 9 p.m. wins or 8 p.m. wins, it does not mean that I'm actually going to change it. But I might test it out just to see what happened. I'm glad you found us too, Jen. I appreciate that you're here. I don't have a preference. The next one is going to be a story by Theodore Sturgeon. And as soon as the poll's done, we'll get started. It is generally considered to be his masterpiece of his short stories. I just finished up the story Passengers by Robert Silverberg. Well, that's the other thing, it's like I don't want to. Oh, good. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited too because it's a really great story. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't mean okay. So, 21 to 12. Okay, so what this basically means is that now I know that there's interest. And I'll pick a night and we'll test it out, and we'll test it out maybe for a couple of nights and see what happens. And we'll go from there. If it doesn't feel right, I will absolutely go back. I will absolutely dump it and go back to 9 o'clock. But I'm just looking for ways to make this more accessible to more people. So that is all. But I'm still, it's be the same days. Well, like I said, you guys, especially my regulars, but really everybody that comes in, you guys have helped me create this community of people that is so just, you guys are fantastic. I mean, it's such a kind and calming space, and that's not just me, it's you guys too. So, if I don't want to mess with that. And, I want to be of value to as many people as I can. So, 50,000 likes. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Awesome sauce. That's one I haven't heard in a while. But yes, I feel the same way, Eddie. I absolutely do. Hey, Millie My Way. How are you? Welcome in. All right, so let's get back to it. I kind of kept the stories so we had a little bit of extra time in between them and at the end so we could chat. Because I know somebody mentioned the other day when I was on doing my recording session that you liked that because I would, when I would pause, I would interact with chat more. So I figured I'd give you guys a little more interaction time tonight and see if we all like that. I know I do. I love interacting with you guys, but I know you guys come in for the stories too, so I got to read those. All right, so now we move on from a story about connection to a story about isolation. From a voice that cannot be escaped to a message that cannot be shared. A story of loneliness, wonder, and the burden of carrying something no one else can understand. This is The Saucer of Loneliness by Theodore Sturgeon. What the hell? There we go. Yeah. Have to wait. Well, Jasmine, I am just starting the second story, so you're not late. You're right on time. Thank you, Glesset. I appreciate that. I really do. Somebody asked me the other day, it's like, do you do audiobooks? I'm like, actually, I am a professional audiobook narrator. All right. This is A Saucer of Loneliness. If she's dead, I thought, I'll never find her in this white flood of moonlight on the white sea, with the surf seething in and over the pale, pale sand like great shampoo. Almost always, schmuosides who stab themselves or shoot themselves in the heart carefully bare their chests. The same strange impulse generally makes the sea to go naked. I had to kind of censor out a word that TikTok doesn't like. Rhymes with slip and slide. A little earlier, I thought, or later, and there would be shadows for the dunes and the breathing toss of the foam. Now the only real shadow was mine, a tiny thing just under me, but black enough to feed the blackness of the shadow of a blimp. A little earlier, I thought, and I might have seen her plodding up the silver shore, seeking a place lonely enough to die in. A little later, and my legs would rebel against this shuffling trot through sand, the maddening sand that could not hold and would not help a hurrying man. My legs did give way then, and I knelt suddenly, sobbing, not for her, not yet, just for air. There was such a rush about me. Wind and tangled spray and colors upon colors and shades of colors that were not colors at all, but shifts of white and silver. If light like that were sound, it would sound like the sea on sand. And if my ears were eyes, they would see such a light. I crouched there, gasping in the swirl of it, and a flood struck me. Shallow and swift, turning up and outward, like flower petals, where it touched my knees, then soaking me to the waist in its bubble and crash. I pressed my knuckles to my eyes so they would open again. The sea was on my lips with the taste of tears, and the whole white night shouted and wept aloud. And there she was. Her white shoulders were a taller curve in the sloping foam. She must have sensed me. Perhaps I yelled, for she turned and saw me kneeling there. She put her fists to her temples, and her face twisted, and she uttered a piercing wail of despair and fury, and then plunged seaward and sank. I kicked off my shoes and ran into the breakers, shouting, hunting, grasping at flashes of white that turned to sea salt and coldness in my fingers. I plunged right past her, and her body struck my side as a wave whipped my face and tumbled both of us. I gasped in solid water, opened my eyes beneath the surface, and saw a greenish-white distorted moon hurtle as I spun. Then there was sucking sand under my feet again, and my left hand was tangled in her hair. The receding wave towed her away, and for a moment she streamed out from my hand like steam from a whistle. In that moment I was sure she was dead. But as she settled to the sand, she fought and scrambled to her feet. She hit my ear, wet, hard, and a huge, pointed pain lanced in my head. She pulled, she lunged away from me, and all the while my hand was caught in her hair. I couldn't have freed her if I wanted to. She spun to me with the next wave, battered and clawed at me, and we went into deeper water. Don't! I can't swim, I shouted. So she clawed me again. Leave me alone, she shrieked. Oh, dear God, why can't you leave me alone? Said her fingernails. Me, said her snapping teeth. Alone, said her small, hard fist. So by her hair I pulled her head down tight to her white shoulder, and with the edge of my free hand I hit her neck twice. She floated again, and I brought her ashore. I carried her to where a dune was between us and the sea's broad, noisy tongue, and the wind was above us somewhere. But the light was bright. I rubbed her wrists and stroked her face and said, It's all right, and there, and some names I used to have for a dream I had long, long before I ever heard of her. She lay still on her back with the breath hissing between her teeth, with her lips in a smile which her twisted, tight, wrinkled, sealed eyes made not a smile but a torture. She was well unconscious for many moments, and still her breath hissed and her closed eyes twisted. Why couldn't you leave me alone? She asked at last. She opened her eyes and looked at me. She had so much misery that there was no room for fear. She shut her eyes again and said, You know who I am. I know, I said. She began to cry. I waited, and when she stopped crying, there were shadows among the dunes. A long time. She said, You don't know who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I said, It was in all the papers. That! She opened her eyes slowly, and her gaze traveled over my face, my shoulders, stopped at my mouth, touched my eyes for the briefest second. She curled her lips and turned away her head. Nobody knows who I am. I waited for her to move or speak, and I finally said, Tell me. Who are you? She asked, with her head still turned away. Someone who... Well? Not now, I said. Later, maybe. She sat up suddenly and tried to hide herself. Where are my clothes? I didn't see them. Oh, she said. I remember. I put them down and kicked sand over them, just where a dune would come and smooth them over, hide them as if they were never there. I hate sand. I wanted to drown in the sand, but it wouldn't let me. You mustn't look at me, she shouted. I hate to have you looking at me. She threw her head from side to side, seeking. I can't stay here like this. What can I do? Where can I go? Here, I said. She let me help her up and then snatched her hand away, half turned from me. Don't touch me. Get away from me. Here, I said again, and walked down the dune where it curved in the moonlight, tipped back into the wind and down and became not a dune but a beach. Here, I pointed behind the dune. At last she followed me. She peered over the dune where it was chest high and again where it was knee high. Back there? She nodded. I didn't see them. So dark. She stepped over the low dune and into the aching black of those moon shadows. She moved away cautiously, feeling tenderly with her feet, back to where the dune was higher. She sank down into the blackness and disappeared there. I sat on the sand in the light. Stay away from me, she spat. I rose and stepped back. Invisible in the shadows, she breathed, Don't Go away." I waited, then saw her hand press out of the clean-cut shadows. "There," she said. "Over there in the dark. Just stay away from me. Be a voice." I did as she asked, and sat in the shadows perhaps 6 feet from her. She told me about it, not the way it was in the papers. She was perhaps 17 when it happened. She was in Central Park in New York. It was too warm for such an early spring day, and the hammered brown slopes had a dusting of green of precisely the consistency of that morning's hoarfrost on the rocks. But the frost was gone, and the grass was brave and tempted some hundreds of pairs of feet from the asphalt and concrete to tread on it. Hers were among them. The sprouting soil was a surprise to her feet as the air was to her lungs. Her feet ceased to be shoes, and she walked on. Her body was consciously more than clothes. It was the only kind of day which in itself can make a city-bred person raise his eyes. She did. For a moment she felt separated from the life she lived, in which there was no fragrance, no silence, in which nothing ever quite fit, nor was quite filled. In that moment the ordered disapproval of the buildings around the pallid park could not reach her. For 2, 3 clean breaths it no longer mattered that the whole wide world really belonged to images projected on a screen, to gentle groomed goddesses in these steel and glass towers, that it belonged, in short, always to someone else. So she raised her eyes, and there above her was the saucer. It was beautiful. It was golden, with a dusty finish like that of an unripe Concord grape. It made a faint sound, a chord composed of 2 tones, and a blunted hiss like the wind in tall wheat. It was darting about like a swallow, soaring and dropping. It circled and dropped and hovered like a fish, shimmering. It was like all these living things, but with that beauty it had all the loveliness of things turned and burnished, measured, machined, and metrical. At first she felt no astonishment, for this was so different from anything she had ever seen before that it had to be a trick of the eye. A false evaluation of size and speed and distance that in a moment would resolve itself into a sun flash on an airplane or the lingering glare of a welding arc. She looked away from it and abruptly realized that many other people saw something, too. People all around her had stopped moving and speaking and were craning upward. Around her was a globe of silent astonishment, and outside it she was aware of the life noise of the city, the hard-breathing giant who never inhales. She looked up again, and at last began to realize how large and how far away the saucer was. No, rather how small and how very near it was. It was just the size of the largest circle she might make with her 2 hands, and it floated not quite 18 inches over her head. Fear came then. She drew back and raised a forearm, but the saucer simply hung there. She bent far sideways, twisted away, leaped forward. It looked back and upward to see if she had escaped it. At first she couldn't see it. Then, as she looked up and up, there it was, close and gleaming, quivering and crooning right over her head. She bit her tongue. From the corner of her eye, she saw a man cross himself. He did that because he saw me standing there with a halo over my head, she thought. And that was the greatest single thing that had ever happened to her. No one had ever looked at her and made a respectful gesture before, not once, not ever. Through terror, through panic and wonderment, the comfort of that thought nestled into her. To wait to be taken out and looked at again in lonely times. The terror was uppermost now, however. She backed away, staring upward, stepping in a ludicrous cakewalk. She should have collided with people. There were plenty of people there, gaping and craning, but she reached none. She spun around and discovered to her horror that she was the center of a pointing, pressing crowd. Its mosaic of eyes all bulged, and its inner circle braced its many legs to press back and away from her. The saucer's gentle note deepened. It tilted, dropped an inch or so. Someone screamed. And the crowd broke away from her in all directions, milled about, and settled again in a new dynamic balance. A much larger ring, as more and more people raced to thicken it against the efforts of the inner circle to escape. The saucer hummed and tilted. She opened her mouth to scream, fell to her knees, and the saucer struck. It dropped against her forehead and clung there. It seemed almost to lift her. She came erect on her knees, made one effort to raise her hands against it. Then her arms stiffened down and back, her hands not reaching the ground. For perhaps a second and a half, the saucer held her rigid. And then it passed a single ecstatic quiver to her body and dropped it. She plumped to the ground, the backs of her thighs heavy and painful on her heels and ankles. The saucer dropped beside her, rolled once in a small circle, once just around its edge, and lay still. It lay still and dull and metallic, different and dead. Hazily she lay and gazed at the gray-shrouded blue of the good spring sky, and hazily she heard whistles, and some tardy screams, and a great stupid voice bellowing, "Give her air!" which made everyone press closer. Then there wasn't so much sky because of the blue-clad bulk with its metal buttons and its leatherette notebook. Okay, what's happened here? Stand back, for God's sake. And the widening ripples of observation, interpretation, and comment. It knocked her down. Some guy knocked her down. He knocked her down. Some guy knocked her down, and right in broad daylight, this guy, the park's getting to be onward and outward, the adulteration of fact, until it was lost altogether because excitement is so much more important. Somebody with a harder shoulder than the rest bulling close, a notebook here, too, a witnessing eye over it ready to change, a beautiful brunette to an attractive brunette for the afternoon editions, because attractive is as dowdy as any woman is allowed to get if she is a victim in the news. The glittering shield and the florid face bending close. "You hurt bad, sister?" And the echoes back and back through the crowd. Hurt bad, badly injured. He beat the hell out of her, broad daylight. And still, another man, slim and purposeful, tan garbadine, cleft chin and beard shadow. Flying saucer, huh? Okay, officer, I'll take over here. And who the hell might you be taking over? The flash of a brown leather wallet, a face so close behind that its chin was pressed into the gabardine's shoulder. The face said, awed, FBI, and that rippled outward too. The policeman nodded. The entire policeman nodded in one single bobbing genuflection. "Get some help and clear this area," said the gabardine. Yes, sir, said the policeman. FBI, FBI, the crowd murmured, and there was more sky to look at above her. She sat up, and there was a glory in her face. The saucer talked to me, she sang. You shut up, said the gabardine. You'll have lots of chances to talk later. Yeah, sister, said the policeman. My God, this mob could be full of communists. You shut up, too, said the gabardine. Someone in the crowd told someone else a communist beat up this girl, while someone else was saying she got beat up because she was a communist. She started to rise, but solicitous hands forced her down again. There were 30 police there by that time. I can walk, she said. Now, you just take it easy, they told her. They put a big stretcher down beside her and lifted her onto it and covered her with a big blanket. I can walk, she said as they carried her through the crowd. A woman went white and turned away, moaning, Oh, my God, how awful! A small man with round eyes stared and stared at her and licked his lips. The ambulance. They slid her in. The gabardine was already there, a white-coated man with very clean hands. How did this happen, miss? No questions, said the gabardine. Security. The hospital. She said, I gotta go get back to work. Take your clothes off, they told her. She had a bedroom to herself then for the first time in her life. Whenever the door opened, she could see a policeman outside. It opened off very often to admit the kind of civilians who were very polite to military people, and the kind of military people who were even more polite to certain civilians. She did not know what they all did, nor what they wanted. Every single day they asked her 4,500,000 questions. Apparently they never talked to each other, because each of them asked her the same questions over and over. What is your name? How old are you? What year were you born? What is your name? Sometimes they would push her down strange paths with their questions. Now, your uncle married a woman from Middle Europe, did he? Where in Middle Europe? What clubs or fraternal organizations did you belong to? Ah, now, about that rinky-dinks gang on 63rd Street. Who was really behind it? But over and over again, what did you mean when you said the saucer talked to you? And she would say, It talked to me. And they would say, And it said? And she would shake her head. There would be a lot of shouting ones, and then a lot of kind ones. No one had ever been so kind to her before, but she soon learned that no one was being kind to her. They were just getting her to relax, to think of other things, so they could suddenly shoot that question at her. What do you mean it talked to you? Pretty soon it was just like Mom's or school or any place, and she used to sit with her mouth closed and let them yell. Once they sat her on a hard chair for hours and hours with a light in her eyes and let her get thirsty. Home, there was a transom over the bedroom door, and Mom used to leave the kitchen light glaring through it all night, every night, so she wouldn't get the horrors. So the light didn't bother her at all. They took her out of the hospital and put her in jail. Some ways it was good. The food, the bed was all right, too. Through the window she could see lots of women exercising in the yard. It was explained to her that they all had much harder beds. You're a very important young lady, you know. That was nice at first, but as usual it turned out they didn't mean her at all. They kept working on her. Once they brought the saucer into her. It was inside a big wooden crate with a padlock, and a steel box inside with a Yale lock. It only weighed a couple of pounds, the saucer, but by the time they got it packed, it took 2 men to carry it and 4 men with guns to watch them. They made her act out the whole thing just the way it happened, with some soldiers holding the saucer over her head. It wasn't the same. They'd cut a lot of chips and pieces out of the saucer, and besides, it was that dead gray color. They asked her if she knew anything about it, and for once she told them. "It's empty now," she said. The only one she would ever talk to was a little man with a fat belly who said to her the first time he was alone with her, "Listen, I think the way they've been treating you stinks. Now get this. I have a job to do. My job is to find out why you won't tell what the saucer said. I don't want to know what it said, and I'll never ask you. I don't even want you to tell me. Let's just find out why you're keeping it a secret." Finding out why turned out to be hours of just talking about having pneumonia and the flower pot she made in second grade that Mom threw down the fire escape and getting left back in school, and the dream about holding a wine glass in both hands and peeping over it at some man. One day she told him why she wouldn't say about the saucer, just the way it came to her. "Because it was talking to me, and it's just nobody else's business." She even told him about the man crossing himself that day. It was the only other thing she had of her own. He was nice. He was the one who warned her about the trial. "I have no business saying this, but they're going to give you the full dress treatment, judge and jury and all. You just say that you don't want to say, no less, no more, here? And don't let them get your goat. You have a right to own something." He got up and swore and left. First, a man came and talked to her for a long time about how maybe this Earth would be attacked from outer space by beings much stronger and cleverer than we are, and maybe she had the key to a defense, so she owed it to the whole world. And then, even if Earth wasn't attacked, just think of what an advantage she might give this country over its enemies. Then he shook his finger in her face and said that what she was doing amounted to working for the enemies of her country, and he turned out to be the man that was defending her at the trial. The jury found her guilty of contempt of court, and the judge recited a long list of penalties he could give her. He gave her one of them and suspended it. They put her back in jail for a few more days, and one fine day they turned her loose. That was wonderful at first. She got a job in a restaurant and furnished room. She had been in the papers so much that Mom didn't want her back home. Mom was drunk most of the times and sometimes used to tear up the whole neighborhood, but all the same, she had very special ideas about being respectable, and being in the papers all the time for spying was not her idea of being decent. So she put her maiden name on the mailbox downstairs and told her daughter not to live there anymore. At the restaurant, she met a man who asked her for a date. The first time, she spent every cent she had on a red handbag to go with her red shoes. They weren't the same shade, but anyway, they were both red. They went to the movies, and afterward he didn't try to kiss her or anything. He just tried to find out what the flying saucer told her. She didn't say anything. She went home and cried all night. Then some men sat in a booth talking, and they shut up and glared at her every time she came past. They spoke to the boss, and he came and told her that they were electronics engineers working for the government, and that they were afraid to talk shop while she was around. Wasn't she some sort of spy or something? So she got fired. Once she saw her name on a jukebox. She put in a nickel and punched that number, and the record was all about the flying saucer came down one day and taught her a brand new way to play. And what it was I will not say, but she took me out of this world. And while she was listening to it, someone in the juke joint recognized her and called her by name. 4 of them followed her home, and she had to block the door shut. Sometimes she'd be all right, for months on end, and then someone would ask for a date. 3 times out of 5, she and the date were followed. Once the man she was with arrested the man who was tailing them. Twice, the man who was tailing them arrested the man she was with. 5 times out of 5, the date would try to find out about the saucer. Sometimes she would go out with someone and pretend that it was a real date, but she wasn't very good at it. So she moved to the shore and got a job cleaning at night in offices and stores. There weren't many to clean, but that just meant there weren't many people to remember her face from the papers. Like clockwork, every 18 months, some feature writer would drag it all out again in a magazine or a Sunday supplement, and every time someone saw a headlight on a mountain or a light on a weather balloon, it had to be a flying saucer. And there had to be some tired quip about the saucer wanting to tell secrets. Then, for 2 or 3 weeks, she'd stay off the streets in daytime. Once, she thought she had it whipped. People didn't want her. So she began reading. The novels were all right for a while until she found out that most of them were like the movies, all about the pretty ones who really own the world. So she learned things. Animals, trees. A lousy little chipmunk caught in a wire fence bit her. The animals didn't want her. The trees didn't care. Then she hit on the idea of the bottles. She got all the bottles she could and wrote on papers which she corked into the bottles. She'd tramp miles up and down the beaches and throw the bottles out as far as she could. She knew that if the right person found one, it would give that person the only thing in the world that would help. Those bottles kept her going for 3 solid years. Everyone's got to have a little secret little something he does. And the last time came when it was no use anymore. You can go on trying to help someone who maybe exists, but soon you can't pretend there's such a person anymore. And that's it. The end. "Are you cold?" I asked when she was through telling me. The surf was quieter and the shadows longer. "No," she answered from the shadows. Suddenly she said, "Did you think I was mad at you because you saw me without my clothes?" "Why shouldn't you be?" "You know, I don't care. I wouldn't have wanted you to see me even in a ball gown or overalls. You can't cover up my carcass. It shows, it's there, whatever. I just didn't want you to see me at all. Me or anyone." She hesitated. "You?" I got up and stretched and walked a little, thinking, didn't the FBI try to stop you throwing those bottles? "Oh, sure. They spent I don't know how much taxpayers' money gathering them up. They still make a spot check every once in a while. They're getting tired of it, though. All the writing in the bottles was the same," she laughed. I didn't know she could. "What's funny?" "All of them. Judges, jailers, jukeboxes, people. Do you know it wouldn't have saved me a minute's trouble if I told them the whole thing at that very beginning?" "No?" "No. They wouldn't have believed me. What they wanted was a new weapon, super science from a super race, to slap the hell out of the super race if they ever got the chance, or out of our own if they didn't. All those brains," she breathed, with more wonder than scorn. "All that brass. They think super race, and it comes out super science. They don't ever imagine a super race has super feelings, too. Super laughter, maybe, or super hunger." She paused. "Isn't it time you asked me what the saucer said?" "I'll tell you," I blurted. "There is in certain living souls a quality of loneliness unspeakable, so great it must be shared, as company is shared by lesser beings. Such a loneliness is mine, so know by this that in immensity there is one lonelier than you." "Dear Jesus," she said devoutly, and began to weep. "And how is it addressed?" "To the loneliest one." "How did you know?" she whispered. "It's what you put in the bottles, isn't it?" "Yes," she said. "Whenever it gets to be too much, that no one cares, that no one ever did, you throw a bottle into the sea. And out goes a part of your own loneliness. You sit and think of someone somewhere finding it, learning for the first time that the worst there is can be understood." The moon was setting and the surf was hushed. We looked up and out to the stars. She said, "We don't know what loneliness is like. People thought the saucer was a saucer, but it wasn't. It was a bottle with a message inside. It had a bigger ocean to cross, all of space, and not much chance of finding anybody. Loneliness? We don't know loneliness." When I could, I asked her why she had tried to ill herself. "I've had it good," she said, "with what that saucer told me. I wanted to pay back. I was bad enough to be helped. I had to know I was good enough to help. No one wants me? Fine. But don't tell me no one anywhere wants my help. I can't stand that." I took a deep breath. "I found one of your bottles 2 years ago. I've been looking for you ever since. Tide charts, current tables, maps, and wandering. I heard someone talk about you in the bottles hereabouts. Someone told me you'd quit doing it. You'd taken to wandering the dunes at night. I knew why. I ran all the way." I needed another breath now. "I got a club foot. I think right, but the words don't come out of my mouth the way they're inside my head. I have this nose. I never had a woman. Nobody ever wanted to hire me to work where they'd have to look at me." "You're beautiful," I said. "You're beautiful." She said nothing, but it was as if a light came from her, more light and far less shadow than ever the practiced moon could cast. Among the many things it meant was that even to loneliness there is an end for those who are lonely enough, long enough. Well, what'd you guys think of that one? Right? I told you guys I had 2 good ones tonight. Well, if you guys liked those, I will definitely look up more Theodore Sturgeon and Robert Silverberg. Holy cow. Because they are both spectacular writers. I'm also Trista. I'm also looking up some I want to curate a well, see, a lot of the writers from back in the early 20th century all the way up through the 1960s, a lot of them lived in New York City because all of the magazines and all of the major publishers were based in New York City, so they all just lived there. And that was back when, you could live there and have it be relatively affordable. So a lot of those stories were set in New York City. But yeah, I'm trying to curate a night of some of the female pulp writers. A lot of them at the time had to write under male pen names because they wouldn't be taken seriously, and it was revealed later on that they were in fact women. And I gotta say, some of their stuff is just freaking amazing. One in particular, Ursula K. Le Guin, is just a giant. I've read one of her short stories on here. It's called The Ones Who Walk Away from O'Malus. It's a fantastic, fantastic short story. And Wings, you are absolutely correct. You're not alone because you're here with us tonight. And you can be with us 4 nights a week, now that I've added Mondays. But yeah, those are just 2 really just beautiful stories. I'm glad you guys enjoyed them. I really am glad you guys enjoyed them. So yeah, I've been working to, I've been picking up some anthologies, and Danielle, I that's one thing I'm absolutely planning on doing. I will probably I'll do a Wednesday and Friday of it because there's so many of them, and I would like to reread Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and Ursula K. Le Guin's The Ones Who Walk Away from O'Malus, because those 2 short stories are absolute freaking masterpieces. But yeah. And there's plenty of others out there. What's really amazing is, like, people think about, like the late 19th century, and you have women like Mary Shelley. Yes, 100,000. That's crazy. You guys are awesome. Thank you. But there are so many other female writers who were writing really dark fiction. So there's plenty to pick from. And there's a lot of modern female writers out there that are doing really amazing horror and science fiction work. One that comes to mind, whose work I love, though it is not for everyone, is Anya Alborn. She has written some really amazing books, but they are dark. Some of them are very dark. The one that the first one I read of hers was called The Devil Walks In. Fantastic book, and the ending is just a total mind twister, which is really great. But yeah, there's a lot of women doing some amazing work in horror and science fiction these days, and it all stands on the shoulders of the ones that were there out in during the pulp days. Big Doc, yeah, go ahead. I'll try to answer whatever questions you have. So, all right. Well, Sunday, as you guys know, we're going to be starting, the Jim Jims. I'm actually thinking about putting that on a t-shirt. Something like, get your Jim Jams with UndeadPapa. Shelley, you are very welcome. It is my absolute pleasure to come on here and read. So I was kind of let it be a surprise, but I'll let the cat out of the bag because I can't keep her secret to save my life. When we hit 15,000, I am going to be launching a small collection of merch. There will be tickets and tickets, yeah. stickers and t-shirts. I just got to work that out. And I'm trying to remember who it was that was suggesting the glow-in-the-dark shirts. I would love to do that, but I got to find somebody that would actually do it. And it would have to be one where we did pre-orders for it, because unfortunately you can't do those on like a print on demand. I'm glad you guys love Sundays. Sundays is where all of this started. That was really the first day. I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to get on Sunday nights and I'm going to read. I'm going to read, children's stories, children's chapter books, because I miss doing it with my own kids. Both my daughters are grown now. They're 20 and 18. So, yeah. So I don't get to do it anymore. And I got on here, and then people just seem to really love it. I can do tank tops. Tank tops are easy. People loved it. So I, expanded to Wednesdays. And then I got on a Friday on a whim, and it was great. So I added Fridays. And then, we did Wizard of Oz, where we did a 3-night live, read the whole book. And then the week of my birthday, yeah, sure, man, no problem. I'll get back to you. And then I, stumbled the week of my birthday. I was live every day. And that's when I went live on a Monday, and it was great. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, so, yep, Trista, I remember. You were chanting about, you were chatting, I can't even, you were chatting about James Patterson back then too. Which is totally cool. Yeah, 7 Mars. See, this is the coolest thing about this whole thing, is the community that we've built. We have inside jokes like Jim Jams, and it's just that I just think it's hilarious. It's because it's real community behavior. And I love that when you guys come in, everybody greets everybody, And when I'm reading, I'm still seeing chat scrolling, because y'all are talking to each other more than you're talking to me, which is great, because that means you guys are all making connections, which I love. CSI. That's funny. Yeah. So, but no, I you guys all know that I love doing this, and it's I could have the worst day, and I come in here, hey, Queen of Denial, how are you? Another one of my super fans. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I could have the worst day, and I come in here, go live, read stories, and chat with you guys, and my day ain't so bad anymore. And I know a lot of you guys have found the same thing. You come in here, talk with friends, you get to listen to me read a story, and it does something to your brain, it relaxes you, which I love. But, so yes, Sunday and Monday we are going to, that's wonderful. Crazy Mama, that makes me happy. Thank you for sharing. I was really hoping. Number one book? Number one what? Absolutely. I mean, you're here every night that I'm live. You and Wings, and just you guys are all just so supportive, And not just to me, you guys are supportive to each other. And it's, a year from now, we're all going to be we're going to be like family. And we should support each other. And sometimes it's an encouraging word, or knowing that someone outside of your normal circle cares is a big deal. And we do care. That's why I was so happy. That's why I was so happy to have you share, the video of your daughter marching. I thought that was freaking amazing. Trista, I'll put it in chat. My favorite one that I have done so far, and the author is actually here on TikTok. He's a great guy. I loved working with him. The book is called Bane Birth. Oops. J. Smith. Oh, I hope I spelled his name right. Big Doc, absolutely. And that has been one of the beautiful things about this whole journey and this community of people. Thank you, Justin. I love that I've been able to provide a space where people can come in for 2 hours, 4 nights a week if they want to, and forget about all of the insanity. Because let's face it, I mean, some days I wake up and I look at the news and I feel like the world is burning to the ground. But then I come on here and hang out with you guys, and I realize that there is still hope. I firmly believe that storytelling is important. I'm part of a voice acting group, and there have been some messages that I have, just some chat messages on here that I've gotten where people have expressed, the one that hit me the hardest one night was, "Thank you for keeping me alive tonight." And I legit cried when I saw that, because whether you guys know it or not, I go through chat after I get off the live, so I make sure I see all of the messages and stuff. That one hit me hard, man. So hard. And I shared that with the voice acting group that I'm part of, and I said, look, guys, if you ever doubt that what we do as storytellers, if you ever doubt that whether or not it matters, it does. What we do is make magic real. We breathe life into characters and stories. And the beautiful thing about it is, like I said, this all started on Sundays. We're reading family-friendly stuff, and it was all happy, good, well, sort of, until we hit Charlotte's Web and Bridge to Terabithia, and then, yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. Usually they're all very happy stories. Like on Wednesdays and Fridays, between you, me, and the wall, I have read some dark stuff. Really dark stuff. But it's not just about the stories. It's about the space. It's about the moments that we get to share with each other, the inside jokes that we create. And, we're here. Yeah. I wish you had too. But I'm glad you're here now. because that's what matters. I don't look at myself as some sort of sage, but I believe in kindness. At the end of the day, if we lead with kindness, the world would be a better place. His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, said that the quote from him is, he said, "My religion is simple. My religion is kindness." And if you have ever heard stories about the man, he walks the walk. I read a story about, there was a book of his that I would recommend. It's called The Art of Happiness. And absolutely life-changing, to be completely honest with you. But there is a story in that book where he goes to all these speaking engagements around the world. And the people that manage him during, in his time during those engagements get really frustrated with him because he stops and talks to people. There's a story that he was at a speaking event, and he was going to the stage, and he stopped to talk to the guy who was mopping the floor. And apparently he stood there and had a 15-minute conversation with him, asked him all sorts of questions and chatted with him. They shared jokes and were laughing. And they were like, "Dude, we got to go. You need to be on stage." And he's like, "I'm talking to my friend now." And the even better than that was when he was done, he came off the stage, down the same hallway, and stopped and asked somebody where that guy was, because he wanted to say goodbye to him. He wanted to talk to him one more time. That's kindness. And that's the thing that I think we need more of. And money. I need more money. Yes, and our connections with those people matter. We don't do that enough. We don't connect with people enough. And as frustrating as social media can be, I have met some of my very best friends. I met my best friend on this app. Some of you have heard me talk about her before. No, Big Doc, it goes a long way. You can make the difference in somebody. You can save someone's life by just being kind. You got somebody that's headed on their way out. They've made the decision. They're gonna go do it. Next thing you know, they're at a bus stop. And the guy next to them just says, "Hey, how's it going? Where are you headed to?" Oh, and smiling, and, "Well, I hope you have a great day." And the next thing you know, the person's like, "Well, shit. Maybe it's worth sticking around for." And you think, that's crazy. No, it's happened. Be kind, because you never know what battles someone is fighting. What someone is fighting. And yeah, 7 Mars, it's free. Kindness is free. Sprinkle that shit everywhere. I don't know. I know I don't have all the answers, but I think I got 1 or 2 of them. It's We'll never get anywhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. Was it when you give a person a hug, you get one back? Give a hug, you get a hug at the same time. Pixie dust glitter everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. I have referred to myself as friendship glitter. Think I'm gone? 20 years from now, you'll find me between the couch cushions. I never left. Wings, I don't know another way to be. You know? I think maybe a couple of years ago or something like that I probably wouldn't have wanted to get on and read Charlotte's Web knowing that I was going to cry. But when it happened, I didn't feel embarrassed. And you guys were so beautiful about it. And the same thing happened when I read the ending of Bridge to Terabithia. I've said it before, but the end of that book was a kick in the chest. Like with a steel-toed boot to the sternum. And yeah, we all cried. You're right, Seven Mars. We all cried. It was, and afterwards it was like some big, spontaneous virtual group hug. Nobody made fun of me. Nobody made fun of each other. We all realized that in that moment we were sharing a feeling. And again, that's the magic of storytelling. That's why I liken it to we're all sitting around a campfire, and I'm the guy who just has the stories. We are blessed to have you, Queen. We are absolutely blessed to have you. And I'm blessed to have every one of you. I mean that sincerely. You guys make this worthwhile. The stories are great, but being able to sit and talk to you guys and be, like you said, be vulnerable, be authentic, be myself, not have to, good night, Katie, not have to hide anything. I could just be me. And sometimes that's not a good thing. Oh, God. But, yeah. No, and if they, so, I don't know if anybody remembers this. It had to be like, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. Somebody came into chat, and the only thing they posted was, why is a grown man reading a children's story? And what I think was hilarious is that my regulars at the time, Wings, you might remember this, you guys all dogpiled on this person. But you did it in the most kind way ever. It was hilarious because it's like you just bounced them out of here with being kind. Nobody was shitty to them. It was all just, yeah, well, but it was so freaking funny. I didn't even find out about it until after the live was over, and I went back through the comments, and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I am so proud of these guys. I love it. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, we don't get a lot of jerks in here. I don't get a lot of views either, apparently, but that's besides the point. I think March spoiled me because we had those 3 Sundays where it was like 500 new followers and then 600 new followers, and then the one night was like 1,300 followers in one night. It just absolutely blew my mind. And that was a fun night. But yeah, it kind of spoiled me. So it's like now it's like I'm going, oh man, I want to see more people. Not because I want to grow, or not because I want, it's all just driven by, I just want to read to more people. I want more people to experience this thing that we all love. I want more people to experience it. But yeah. So oh. All right. Yeah. Yep. Yep. It will. I mean, I can't complain because look, this time last year, I'm so glad you love it. I love having you here. Seriously. This time last year, I was at 2,300 followers. I was stuck at 2,300 followers for probably a year. And I start doing this, and I'm at almost 15,000 now. Almost 15,000. It's crazy. It is absolutely nuts. It's so cool. And I didn't do that by going viral. I didn't do it because, I... Do you guys remember the trend where, like, you would get these videos on TikTok and it would be, like, some dude going, oh, don't join my live. Don't join my live. Every time somebody joins my live, I have to dump mayonnaise on my head. I've never dumped mayonnaise on my head in front of you guys, and I don't think I'm going to. I think TikTok just doesn't know what to do with me, which is fine. I got no booty to shake, so, but I can't use that. I don't think anybody wants to see that. God, I don't want to see that. Well, hey, here's the thing. I try to... This isn't just a live to me. It's become like a show. Like I plan, I write a script, I curate the stories. I have visuals and try to just do what I got to do. Yeah, everybody's showing up after I've finished reading the stories. Yes, I remember. That was such a neat story. That's such a neat story. And L. Frank Baum wrote a whole book of Santa stories. So we'll have more this year. And I think what I would like to do, and I appreciate you. And see, this is the thing, Eddie. That is so beautiful that I can do this for you, I mean, and you have expressed how much it does for you, and that just makes me so freaking happy. Yeah, Trista, we the story that we read back at Christmas time was L. Frank Baum's A Kidnapped Santa Claus. It was a fun story. Absolutely fun story. And I've got some stuff picked out for Christmas already. I will probably... I'm almost thinking of doing like a bracket for Goosebumps for Halloween to choose which Goosebumps stories we read. The poem, I do that every year. I absolutely do it every year. And I'm going to do we did A Christmas Carol last year, and I'm going to do that again this year. It's such a great story. It's so much fun to narrate that. Because you just get into the ghosts, and the voice actor in me really comes out, and I can just chew the hell out of those lives. 12 Days of Christmas with 12 different stories. Yeah, I mean, there are so many options, and I know you guys will show up for it, which is I love. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a series of Goosebumps books for the month of October on Sundays and Mondays. Some of them are like one-night books, and some of them are two-night books. So, but I also want to do a bunch of ghost stories and stuff like that. Last year, I don't know who was here, but last year we did a right advent calendar. Yeah, last year we did. I found a book that I had purchased at a Scholastic book fair when I was in elementary school. Trista, that is actually something that I am actually thinking about. Yep. The local library is like 2 minutes away from my house, and I would love to do like a live story time from the library, do one for kids. That would be so neat. That would be so neat. Oh, that is cool. Nice. Yeah, but there's so many things that I want to do with this, and I enjoy it thoroughly, and I'm glad you guys are here, coming along on this ride with me, And it seems like every week we pick up some new regulars, and that just makes me happy because I love having you guys here, But well, I can feel my voice going, so it's getting late, and I got a lot of recording to do tomorrow, so I am going to call it a night. So, well, thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me here this evening, and join me on Sunday and Monday as we read James and the Giant Peeps. Yeah, the Giant Peeps. Big marshmallow peeps. James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. If you enjoy the stories and would like to help support what I do here, please consider subscribing or becoming a super fan. It does help keep the campfire lit, but as I always say, subscribed or not, super fan or not, I am just glad that you are here. So, until then, please be kind to each other. And be kind to yourself, because kindness matters. And so do you. Good night, everybody.